one. And it's black because in solidarity with all those who desire true peace in Jerusalem, also known as a city of peace. So we wanted to live up to the name. So that's why the trumpet, the JK Temple trumpet, I turned on the video so I started to notice my nose itching. So, are you ready for some spiritual manna? Hello and welcome to the Good Info Cafe. Multiple intelligences meet each day. Yeah, I'm JK. Straw bass. Okay, so I'm going to be going silence is okay today. And I am J the K today. This is my heart guitar made by JJ Hart, or that's the company. One of my favorite guitars because it's not an expensive guitar. I think it's pretty cheap wood. And that's why I can play percussion with my... So many times you go and everyone's a guitar player. So I would turn this over and play drums while they played their original songs or played their songs. So today, warning, it's going to be longer than the typical video, which averages maybe 15, 14 in the last month. And oh yeah, I have a napkin and hanky that I got here. I got my trash can over here, and so today, so the warning is. What's my warning? My warning is it's going to be a lot longer. So you can always come back to this, just see part of it, and then come back and see later. This is my darbuka from Turkey that my daughter got like for a great price at a consignment type shop. And a friend lent me this. It says Middle East on it. Mideast. Actually, it says Mideast on it. And... So, I'm just checking out things over here. So, a lot today. It's almost a data dump because this is the prerequisite for launching Phase 3. Phase 3 Feast and Phase 3 Financial Foundation. So, I'm setting the table. Getting us all on the same page. We're just one page away. We're just one page away. Will we the people get the truth today? We're just one page away. Thank you, TiVo, for reminding me about that. I'll do that song at one of the future videos in Phase 3. Another thing for Phase 3, as I plan to do a duet with my father. Just talked to him yesterday about it. We sang in lots of weddings, family weddings. I was hired to sing at weddings. He was hired to sing at weddings, and funerals, and functions, and at church. So I want to do that. He's 85 years old, and he's still got some pipes. And he's a tenor, and I'm a baritone. I'm also going to possibly introduce a new segment that'll be in Phase 3. And it's going to be called Did You Know? So question mark, did you know? For example, did you know Old King Cole was a merry old soul? A merry old soul was he? From what I read that he was the father of Helen, who was the mother of Constantine I, the one who made Christianity the official government or official Roman religion in 300, so they stopped killing them. Probably stopped killing them less than now how their Christians are getting killed around the world. And innocent people, that's what that's about, innocent people. So there are innocent Muslims being killed, innocent Jews being killed, innocent Christians being killed around the world, innocent people, innocent children. Not going to go into all that right now. But that's so, and then I say what my confidence level is. So I read that, so it sounds true, so I'm going to say my confidence level is 7 out of 10. That is the case, that old King Cole was a merry old soul, was a merry old soul, was he, or however you say it, is the same one who was the father of Helen, right? And mother of Constantine. Kind of cool, I didn't know that, I just read that the other day. So my confidence level is 7. That is actually true, whoever's the expert on that. And so I might be doing that. And my videos, I think, in the phase 3 are going to be between 10 and 20 minutes long. Before it was more like 10 to 15, and that would go every once in a while. So now 10 to 20. So, 70% will be between 10 and 20. And then the others, and you know my 70, 10, 10, 10. I can't really see it there. But I have to take breaths and slow down. Silence is golden sometimes in the right context when it's appropriate. So checking my guitar over here. Oh yeah, the other day I was sitting way over here and my guitars are over here on their stands. And I'm just sitting there writing and no one's here by myself and I hear ding, or what I heard was it was the E. Right over here when I was over there. And I was like, okay. And it was on the nylon string guitar, I think. I can't remember now. It might have been on this one, yeah. Might have been on my heart guitar. I'm looking around, I'm going, my first thought was, okay, God, maybe I'll be able to figure this out. How did that sound just happen? There's nothing over there that I can see. And, to me that's miracles or things that we can't explain. Sometimes we'll figure out, sometimes we won't. So about a minute later, I'm still looking around and I walk over and there's one of those stink bugs on the ground. So it had been on the top of the guitar. I think it had been like up here somewhere and then it fell and then hit the string and it was on the ground. And guess what? I really don't want to harm a fly or a bug. So I picked it up or got it on a piece of paper and brought it outside like I did just yesterday. I only say love your enemies even if you have to kill them. You're allowed to kill somebody who's about to kill you. You're allowed to kill somebody who's about to kill an innocent person. You're allowed to. Even in law. Self-defense. Okay, so like I said, I have to go slow here today. And it's really, So I wrote lots of notes here, so I'm going to be going in and out of them. I think this is going to go for a long time because I got to get it, set the table, establish right before the next phase because it is a relationship. Those that have seen the earlier videos and then see this one and see the next step. We've gone through phase 1 and phase 2. And phase 3 is really a semi-launch in a sense of a series because these last 3 months, I started October 31st, November 1st. So I've done 3 months of videos, 3 months, a little bit more. And I have developed content that's valuable to others. And that's what I want to keep doing. But I just wrote down, confront the world as it is, having seen as it is in. Confront the world as it is, having seen as it is in. So you can confront the beauty and the evil, the awesome stuff and the evil, having seen as it is in. Anyone know what I'm talking about? So confront the world as it is, because we've seen as it is in. On earth, as it is in heaven. So once we have that glimpse and know what that is, we're still in the world and we need to confront it as it is, with the good and the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the world. Okay? Making a point. Phase 3 feast. This is going to be a feast. Phase 3 is going to be a feast. It's going to be awesome. And thank you to all those who've been part of this experiment, this beta test of content. Another thing on that subject is I need to do more creating my own content and my own songs, making up songs as I go, making up songs as I go along, song along, to avoid the copyright stuff. Now I do know about the copyright issue. I have it on here. I have it here on the back, and so I don't. But it says copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for the fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in the favor of fair use. And guess what? It might have been called the Copyright Act of 1966, but Paul Zurkowski talked to Congressman Kastenmeier from Wisconsin, who he was working for, who Kastenmeier told Paul Zurkowski, the father of information literacy, in 1974, he coined the phrase, said, you kind of oversee this because congressmen have lots of projects. So Paul Zurkowski really took it under his wing. He was a lawyer and intellectual property. I think it was his degree. Anyway, he had been doing information through newsletters and supporting himself in high school and college through putting out newsletters. Just awesome guy. Even had typeset as a gift when he was real young from his father. Those typeset things. So he actually, with his touch, worked with words and letters and meaning and how you take these things and turn them into meaning that other people look at and enjoy and will pay for. He did it with the advertising for his newsletter. Just awesome story. Paul Zurkowski, 86 now. No, he'll be 86 this year. 86? No, he'll be 87 this year. Great guy. I want to go visit him. Kastenmeier is ready to do the Copyright Act, the biggest revision since 1909, and he was in charge of it from what I understand. And Paul Zurkowski said, no, it's not ready. When Kastenmeier in the 60s, 68, sometime then, listened to the person he had hired to help him and said, okay, what do you think? And Paul Zurkowski said, all this new technology, the Copyright Act needs to address this technology. This is just an incredible story as far as I'm concerned. And so Kastenmeier agreed, and the Copyright Act of 1968 or whatever, that mid-60 time, wasn't until the Copyright Act of 1976. And I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Zurkowski was part of protecting research, because that's who he is. And then the moneyed interests got involved, and they let him go in 1989. But at least he got his 20 years to really set the stage for Google and Amazon and all the high tech now. He was a Johnny Seed of information literacy starting in even before that. But so because he testified in front of Congress the most of anybody about technology and information, he was hired to be the first president of the Information Industry Association from 1969, and then the moneyed interest got more influence by 89 because he did all the work and got it spread and set it up, and they're like, okay, bye-bye. And then he was rediscovered 2013 for the first European Conference on Information Literacy. I was invited speaker. I spoke on it. He was a keynote speaker. We visited Ephesus and Cappadocia, and Erdogan, the president of Turkey, was right 10 feet from me. Oh, you know those stories. I'm jumping around, but I'm going to follow the muse, follow what I'm supposed to say. So I got to go at the proper pace. So the other ones, I went fast through stuff. So here I'm going to slow down. Okay, so did you know? So I can do my eyebrow, right? Cherie, Cherie don't like it. Bom, bom. Rockin' the cash bar. Rockin' the cash bar. All right. So, I'm just looking at my notes. I want true peace. Yeah, this is my new quote-unquote temple horn. And I can also, if I'm in a tight place, and it's black because the city of peace is not, it's a mess. And one other thing I'm going to show you today that is crazy, and I did address it back in November, right after I discovered this. So some of you might know what I'm talking about. So the overview, right, my mission statement is to do the will of God, or try to do the will of God every day. That's what I want to do, is the will of God. And I believe, and then my vision is the vision of as it is on earth as it is in heaven, that I see the only way that that's going to happen is the second coming of Jesus. Just being honest, that's where I personally am at. That all the people who are doing good things, that's helping the kingdom of God as it is on earth as it is in heaven. Oh, another thing. When people are talking about their opinions or politics, geopolitics, there's always three factors, in my view, that are of utmost importance when they're talking. They have a vision of heaven, they have a vision of hell, and then a vision of a mixture, which is this earth, this world. Our world, to me, we're caught between eternities. We're caught between eternal heaven or eternal hell. And you get a glimpse of hell when you're struggling on something, when something's terrible, you can't get it done and it's horrible. That feeling, and then multiply that and make that forever. That's the feeling of hell. And the feeling of heaven is when, oh my God, this is awesome, and the beauty, and my friends and my family. That's, multiply that by 100 into where we can't even fathom it. That's heaven. Where we are, I say, is a mixture of heaven and hell. It's a mixture of good and evil. It's a mixture of God and the devil. Isn't that interesting? Good, take away the O and you get God. And then evil, add a D and you got devil. And the D is kind of like the O from good. And evil backwards is live, and Elvis is live, you know. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a lot today. There's others who do videos that are long, so I put this down for something. Now I can't remember. That's my whistle tone. I'm breathing in on that one. So you're going to see me develop my whistle tone from not being able to do it to now that level of some very raw level of being able to do it, and hopefully I'll be able to go far with it and do it in a song someday. So the mission statement, right? You got that? My mission statement is to do the will of God with all my mind, heart, and soul, and then Jesus' commandment made it too. Love God with all your mind, heart, and soul. Concept, you know. And to love each other as Jesus has loved us. And when he said it, it was love each other as I have loved you. That's a quote from Jesus. That commandment. And I'm going to go over some more. There's a lot of stuff here. I'm reminding myself. And then the vision is the vision of as it is in heaven. So confront the world as it is, having seen as it is in. And heaven can be in here. It doesn't have to be up. But in general, we'll probably go like that, and hell is probably down there. H-E double hockey sticks, as I used to say to my sixth graders, and they gave me that phrase, so I thought that was funny. Okay. So, I've alluded upon this, and I'm going to be a little verklempt, probably, which I'm not sure what that means exactly, but my wife's father was Jewish. He passed a few years ago, God rest his soul. And as his oldest son said, now he knows, because he was agnostic. I don't know if there's a heaven or hell. Now he knows. What was I saying? I've got to go slow, and this is a tough subject for me. I've alluded upon it. But it is relevant. And when you're watching me and, oh, he's avoiding that subject, or you'll see where my background comes in and my biases. I was sexually traumatized by the family maid when I was very young. I'm reading it because I'm nervous, okay? I'm also diabetic and celiac and colorblind. And I relate to somebody's, I can't remember who you were, said you were also colorblind, one of the regulars. And that has had a powerful effect on my life. And I'm still not totally overcome it. I've had to first recognize it, admit it, and go from there. And I'm definitely in an emerging and see the light phase, because being able to talk about it when I did before, I think I said it in a comment, and others just so lovingly commented how tough that must have been. And it was just so beautiful. That's the level I'm at, is telling I can't go do a TED Talk just yet. But that is a thought that someday I can talk about how that happened to me, how I had to, well, how I dealt with, how I didn't deal with it, and then how I did deal with it, and then hope to give testimony someday how I have overcome it. So that's a dynamic that's there, that about to start phase 3 and a new level of relationship. I'm putting that out there. That will color what is going on. And so it is going to be a subset of my, I'm going to announce what the subjects are. I've alluded to them. Masculinity and femininity, or masculine and feminine, are going to be underlying subjects as I move forward in phase 3. And that will be a subset of it, because that is what that is relevant to that overarching masculine and feminine, masculinity and femininity. So then there was a time when I was real young. I remember going to the doctor and there being the nurse and not wanting to be examined or do anything, and my mother saying, no, it's okay, you're okay here. And my mother, I don't know if she knew about the maid, and she passed in 2008, so I don't know if she knew anything really about me being sexually traumatized. And for those who aren't connecting, I understand you not wanting to stick around for this. When I said it to some other important person in all this, he said, join the club. And even a commenter said that. And I don't know, 1 out of 3 men have been sexually traumatized. So I definitely was a victim, but I'm not putting myself out there as isolated, not as the only one, that kind of thing. Thank you all that are sticking around and listening to this, because it has had a profound effect on me and made confusion and caused problems. But then at the nurse, my mom's like, no, it's okay. She's just going to check your this and that. And then it was okay and it was safe. Nothing traumatic happened there. That's where it was healthy, was in the doctor's office with the nurse and being able to be examined and not have to hide myself like Adam and Eve, maybe, have no shame. So that's when I was like 5 or 6. And so this happened to me when I was between 2 and 6, 2 and 5. So, and then just confusion with all that and the trauma of that. And so that's a reason why I think people don't talk about these kind of things, is because it's traumatic. It re-traumatizes one who's been through that. And I don't have any malice towards the maid. She was funny and nice and all that. It's just that she did more stuff during bath time and all that. And but then I've struggled with all that and confused. And about 5 years ago, I got a misdemeanor for touching a 30-something-year-old woman, or she looked like she was around that age, on the knee, over the clothes, and a month later she complained. And the situation, she was supposed to be giving me a refresher training as a health professional on how to avoid getting bruising when taking insulin shots. So I'm a diabetic, and I would review the procedure every year. I always go to nurses, but I went to the nurse at this place, this clinic place, and they sent me to this other health professional. And it turns out that later she admitted that she wasn't trained in the specifics on how to go over insulin injection, but she had been told that's one of the category of things that you need to be doing to try to attract customers and all that kind of stuff. So they sent me to other ones and said any diabetic who comes for training does better with their sticking with their diabetes plan, and if they come 2 or more times, they adhere, their adherence, which is important with a program with giving shots and the food and all that, their adherence improves every time you go. And they sent me to other clinics, but then later on she complained, and so I got a misdemeanor 5 years ago. And she was supposed to go, she admitted that there was, she was not trained in the specifics on how to go over insulin injection procedures like the health clinic chain advertised. They advertise, come here with your diabetes, with your whatever, all health issues. And here's our new health professionals who are going to be dealing with this. And then later on she said she wasn't trained, and she tried to make it sexual, and later on she admitted it wasn't sexual. So it was a huge mess. I did touch her on the knee above the clothes to clarify what she was talking about, how to pinch for giving a shot. And I shouldn't have, and I paid the price. And I continue to pay the price, and I apologize, but in the justice system, they separate and keep people away, where I would have no problem talking to this woman now or anytime. And she had a friend who also worked there who lied to the police, lied and exaggerated about me, and they were seen on social media talking about getting me. So it was really, really difficult. So you know there it is. I'm saying it because it's relevant, because it'll be an emotional thing dealing with these kind of issues. But there's so much bad out there that is horrible to allude to, but I don't want to talk about the sex trafficking, what they do, the post-birth abortion, all that horrible stuff. I will allude to it. I will address it, because there's no subject I'll be unwilling to address when it's important. I think, the regular visitors, the commenters want to hear about such and such. I will talk about it. And just know when it comes to what I just talked about, there'll be, sexual trauma, my misdemeanor, the justice system. In a lot of ways, it's an injustice system. I'm saying I did touch her. I dealt with it. I paid the price 5 years ago. But just know that's my background, so that'll explain. Oh, that's why JK is acting that way around that subject. Here's how I can help, or that kind of thing. And yes, I would love to give testimony to help other men who have been traumatized. Anyone, male and female, but especially men. And so what am I going to grade today? I'm going to grade, I have it written down, resources for male survivors of sexual trauma. Gets an F. There you go. You can see that anger. When this happened, when I was realizing the sexual trauma when I was young, and it was all the memories were coming back, and I work with a therapist, I started to look for resources, and I did have a therapist who helped. It was really good. But you call around, and all the resources were for women, and still haven't found much. So I would say that 90% of the resources for sexual trauma are for women. Awesome, but let's get it more like 50-50 or 60-40 if women are more traumatized than men, which I think so. Men are more predators than women, I think. I mean, women do more emotional abuse than men, but men do more physical and sexual abuse. So they get an F, you know, it's not a zero because there are organizations out there. So those organizations that are helping men when there aren't resources for men, they get an A plus 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 100%. But overall, the United States, I don't know what the world is, but the United States gets an F. But I'll put it at a 59% because they're close, and all those who are doing that, awesome. And I don't want to take away any of the resources for women. And just know, I haven't done any of those other bad things. I had nothing on my record before that, and nothing since. But I'm a sinner. I say I'm the teacher and the sinner, no question. But here, Jesus' command: love God with all mind, heart, and soul. Love each other as I have loved you. I'm there. I'm there, Lord. The Ten Commandments: you shall have no other gods before me. Absolutely not. And pretty much over my 60 years, God is always around there. I didn't stay with him, but he was always there for me. So I never at a sustained level. I might have at a confused level. Am I supposed to want all this, make money? People have said to me I could have been a doctor or a lawyer. I could have worked for the CIA.